Hello, I'm Mark Drury, and I thank you for choosing a Drury Outdoors production. MB3 is the third video in a series dedicated to the unending pursuit of North America's #1 big game animal, the elusive white-tailed deer. A mature, monster-class whitetail buck could quite possibly be the most challenging quarry known to man. It is a rare instance indeed when a mature animal and man share the same space at the same time, particularly when that animal exists in the wild. 100% wild and 100% fair chase. That is our guarantee to you, the viewer. Always has been and always will be. So please enjoy Monster Bucks 3. We produced it for you.
Buck.
Look, got some good blood there. Right, Red?
So you're going a little farther back?
It's a little far back when I shot. That's why I elected to say wait till this morning and come back in here. But,
I think it's a good choice, too.
Plus it's getting dark. We didn't want to push it.
Right. It's a solid artery-looking blood, though, on there. I think it's
Looks good.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Let's go up there and see if we can find
where it took off here.
Blood.
Oh, look right up here. Woo! Right there at this fence.
Let's put it out here.
He jumped this fence. Right there.
Go ahead and mark this post right here. Quite a little bit there. One we found back there.
Yeah, it looks like you might have stopped and stood here for a second.
Yeah.
You might look, man. You might change direction.
Yeah.
Stay here, Ronnie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
It's
good.
getting pretty thick on too.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, look up there. Looky there.
Hey!
There he is.
All right.
Boy, congratulations, Brian. That's a
Hey,
nice
well, that
looking
is.
buck.
Hey, he's neat looking. He's got a lot of
Did
character to
again.
him, don't he?
Yeah, he is
Well, look
a nice
how that
looking
separates
deer.
right there.
It almost looks like it's got a branch of a main beam there, and it just grows together right there. Huh, that is a rack of a lot of
He
good
didn't go
character.
very far.
He's got a lot of character to him, don't he?
He
Yeah,
probably didn't go
really.
100 yards.
Yeah, you can almost see the trees from here.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we got this good spot, you know. Come in here, we scouted it out. We got the rubs and scrapes and everything right here. You know,
It seems like to me that's one of your spots you'd like to keep coming back to, because that sign keeps coming back in here year after
Right.
year. It's a place that the bucks, I guess they know about it. I mean, a lot of bucks use this
Right.
area with the,
Right.
the hub scrapes and everything in there like that.
A lot of hot sign.
Yeah, really hot sign.
These treetops in here too, that makes them nice. They got a place that they can go lay down, you
Sure.
know,
It's,
hide out a little bit.
yep. There's one little broke off right there.
what's a neat little rack.
I sure wouldn't mind having one just about
Oh,
like
yeah.
it.
I think we can get the four-wheeler right down here to him with no problem.
I think so.
Well, let's go get the four-wheeler.
All right.
Get him out of here.
Sure.
What a shot. I mean, that deer was basically on a trot, and Brian made a perfect shot, basically from instinct, and deer didn't go 100 yards after he hit it. You know, we talk a lot about mature deer within the Monster Buck series. We talk about 4.5, 5.5-year-old deer. Well, in order for a deer to get to that age class, he must first be allowed to pass through his first couple years, particularly when that deer is carrying an exceptional rack. And I think these next two hunts show what I'm talking about. 18-month-old deer as 8 points and 10-point bucks. Two weeks later, I was once again hunting at Heartland Lodge, when I had another encounter with a very unique 1.5-year-old buck. I don't know how that deer broke his rack, in a fight I presume, but half of his rack was gone. I can only hope that the next time we see him, that side will be back, and hopefully he's a little bit older. You know, sometimes during the peak of the rut, or really after the rut, which is when this next hunt takes place, rattling and calling work perfectly. Here's a deer that I saw right at first light. I was sitting in my stand. I barely caught a glimpse of him over in this thicket. He went up on the hill and bedded. I waited a couple hours and finally decided to go ahead and do a rattling sequence. For the first time I rattled, I could hear him get up out of his bed and start into me. And he is just an absolutely magnificent, probably 4.5-year-old, maybe 5.5-year-old buck.
not meant to be this year.
You know, there probably isn't a more humbling experience than to miss a mature whitetail. And I guess Mark is one of those guys that's done it a couple of times, but each time it really makes you think, you know, where did I mess up? How did I mess that shot up? How could I have missed that buck, or a buck when he's in close like that? But it's tough. It's tough to handle something like that. Well, after that, a real good friend of ours, Herb SCHULTZ, was hunting in Illinois, and for a good whitetail hunter to harvest a mature buck, he has to be prepared to pass smaller bucks. And Herb's one of those guys that has been hunting, even though he's a young man, he's been hunting for quite some time in the archery field, and had several encounters with small bucks. And his rut was progressing somewhat similar to ours. He wasn't seeing a great number of mature whitetail, but when he did see a decent buck, he finally was able to take advantage of that moment and capture it.
Well, I can't get over size. That buck come down there and absolutely tore up that tree. I was sitting in that stand. I've been there just about all day, from about 10 o'clock on, and there's a deer started coming into the field about 3:30, something like that, and there were several yearlings all by themselves, which means to me that the big mature does have left the fawns because they're getting closer to being ready to be bred. And there was a smaller buck to come through and another buck that was on its way in when I turned and seen this big guy coming. And boy, is he ready for the rut. He come through there, grunting over the top of the ridge, and come down in the timber here and just absolutely thrashed that tree, and come down there and offered me a good shot. Super buck. Monster buck. Gotta get this big guy out of here. I'm gonna have to get some help, that's for sure.
Man, what a hunt. And I'll tell you, Herb showed a lot of self-discipline there by passing up that smaller borderline type buck. And lo and behold, later on, off the same hill comes a buck of a lifetime. That was truly a trophy-sized whitetail. I'll tell you, a lot of times Mark and I and Terry, we preach a lot about rattling and grunting. And a lot of times it does work for us. But you'll see in this next hunt, that this buck came through, he was a beautiful buck. He came through with one thing on his mind, and that was does. And no matter what I threw at that buck, I couldn't get that buck to stop or come in within bow range. And as you'll see, it was amazing. This buck just absolutely didn't hear a thing I was doing, and he kept on going. He had one thing on his mind.
We're set up in a real pretty area where everything kind of funnels down here to a creek crossing. And seeing some nice bucks in this area, some nice buck sign. So hopefully we'll get a shot at one of the thumpers we've been seeing around here. It's spots like this where early season scouting pays off. Hear those turkeys in the background there? There's turkeys all around us this morning. That's a good sign. We didn't spook anything on the way in. see a buck that size is, to me, worth every effort that you make. Hopefully maybe I'll get a shot at him again sometime.
Man, it seemed like no matter what I threw at that buck, he just wasn't going to respond. You know, a few nights later, still during the peak of the rut, I was in a spot that you would think was the perfect spot. The sign was there, it was perfect. And in the time of evening, usually when we see our nice bucks, it's right before dark. So at a time, basically, right after I got in a tree, that you don't normally ever see a big deer, I looked up and across the field, and I like to fell out of my tree. There stood the most gorgeous 9-point I think I've ever laid my eyes on. What a monster. Man, I still think about that deer to this day. What a tremendous buck. Probably 160 class buck. And you notice that that buck still didn't respond to anything I was giving him. I was grunting and grunting. He wouldn't come across that field. And I think the fact that he didn't see another buck there might have kept him from coming across. But you know, if you stick with rattling and grunting, a lot of times the results will be different. And that's where it'll pay off. And you'll see in this next hunt, this nice buck comes through with a purpose. He had a purpose in mind. And with continuous rattling and grunting, I kind of changed his mind a little bit.
The first deer to respond to Steve's calling this morning was a husky 1.5-year-old 4-point.
You talk about having a buck right underneath your tree. He walked directly underneath this API. It was incredible. You know, when I first saw him, he was right on top of me. He come through some thick stuff here. And all of a sudden, there he was. But what a body on that little deer. He had a great big body. I bet that deer weighed 150, 60 pounds. But a little old rack. reason why I didn't shoot is I know there's bigger ones in here. With a little patience, you know. If you're looking for a trophy, which right now I am, passing the little ones like that is how you get the big ones. There's huge buck sign in here, so there's a lot bigger deer in here than that deer there. But he was gorgeous. Really pretty, perfect 8-point rack. Did you see him rub those little saplings down there? He's all rutted up. He's all ready. It's that time of year when the bucks are really moving. And he looked up this way and he never even saw me sitting in this tree. And I'm trying out this mossy oak fall foliage, and it's awesome. Look at how it blends in. I mean, it is awesome for the fall woods. He never even saw me. What a pretty buck. Came down above me here. And then he was going away, and I started rattling and grunting. And he stopped. But he wouldn't come straight into the rattling and grunting. Instead, he did what a typical big whitetail do. He would circle around downwind. It came all the way around a tree. Right behind me, I had a shot, but it was a little too brushy. I didn't want to wound him, so I elected to pass the shot. Well, he finally got a little bit of a wind of me and slipped on off. The scent shield worked up to a certain point, and then he finally, I guess he probably smelled where I walked in here. What a pretty buck. I think he'll make book, even as an 8-point. That's exciting when you're sitting there and you see bucks close to your stand like we've seen this morning. And a buck of that size, he's just wandering around looking for a hot doe. Like I said, he finally got a little wind. What an exciting hunt, though. I came this close from shooting him. Doggone.
Man, finally, Rattling and grunting paid off with that buck. He circled around right within bow range, but it was a little bit too much brush, and I wasn't comfortable with the angle for the shot, so I elected to pass. On this next hunt, you'll see that Rattling and grunting truly does work with big monster whitetails. This buck came through a funnel situation during the peak of the rut, dogging a doe. And I mean, he ran her past the stand probably, I'd say 2 or 3 times. And on the third pass, I finally picked up the rattling antlers because I had nothing to lose. He wasn't coming within bow range of my tree because he was chasing a doe. I banged the rattling antlers together, and he stopped. It stopped him just enough to kind of lose track of the doe. But when he come back through again, he was far enough behind the doe that when I threw the monster buck adjustable at him, he snapped his head, and he thought another buck had moved in on his territory. And in he came, and I mean, he worked in beautiful, just like you like to see a trophy buck do at 10 steps.
It's chilly this morning. It is November 21st, and the rut is really kicking in. Just starting. It's really late this year, and it's really cold this morning. We're in a good travel through transition type area. It's kind of a funnels type spot between this ridge and this creek, and the trails through here are really warm. We've seen a lot of big bucks here over the summer, and this is the first time we're hunting this spot. So hopefully, as you can see, there's a lot of turkeys around. You can hear them calling to each other this morning. It's really nice to know you got the game right close. It seems like in this area where the turkeys are, the deer are, so hopefully we'll see a big one.
this stand a half hour, and he come through chasing a doe. Unfortunately, when they're in that chasing mode like that, they don't always go through the spot that you're setting. I tried to rely on the antlers, but he didn't want to have no part of leaving that doe. He was dogging her to death, and he was a beautiful buck. Nice buck. That's exciting. That's exciting.
Hey.
He's down. All right. What a buck. What a buck. When I stopped him, my arrow went a little bit off the mark and struck him like forward of the vitals in the neck. I'm guessing I got his artery. Oh, he crashed right there. He's beautiful. What an exciting hunt. This is the first time we've hunted this tree in this funnel here, and we scouted it earlier and we stayed out of it. We've seen a lot of big bucks here in the summer feeding around here. We stayed out of this area until the right time and the right wind, and it really paid off.
Even though Steve thought this buck had gone down, he still was not positive. Given the nature of the hit, he decided he'd rather be safe than sorry and begin tracking after a 2-hour wait.
Good blood, it's spraying out good. Means I hit that artery in his neck. He should be laying right up here. I heard him crash, so. All right, look at all this blood. Good, good, good hit. Well, he crashed right in here. Hopefully he'll be right ahead. His blood trail is just a walking blood trail. That's good. Here's real good blood. Good. Okay. He's headed out into this brushy field. And he must have stopped here. It looks like he's bled pretty good right here. So, you know, I waited. This is probably, it's been a little over 2 hours since I hit him. So hopefully, I mean, I'm so optimistic about it. But he's got good blood going right out into this brushy field. All right. There's more blood. Good blood. him. Yes. Woo! Yeah. All right. Oh man, what a brute. Oh, I'll tell you, it was so exciting. We stayed out of this stand. We hung the stand about a month ago in a funnel area, right, a transition area between a cut cornfield and a big bedding area back here. And the deer movement pattern had changed a little bit. So we went in and re-scouted and noticed that we needed to be a little closer to that creek. And the key to it was we didn't go in there until the right time. It's now November 21st, and the bucks are chasing does. The rut is coming in, and so we waited to the exact right time to get in that stand, and it paid off big, big dividends. And I'll tell you what else paid off big dividends is this monster buck adjustable, because if I didn't have this, if you notice, he was chasing a doe, and then he lost her. He lost the doe. Well, when the doe went on past and he lost her, I grunted a couple times, and he thought another buck had got with his doe, and that brought him right within bow range of the tree. And I think the fact that I was watching him come for such a distance, I just got rattled. I did not put a good shot on a deer, but every once in a while, luck's got to shine your way, and it did with this big boy. What a buck. What a monster. Beautiful 9-pointer.
You know, even experienced whitetail hunters need just a little bit of luck to shine their way once in a while. And on that particular hunt, a little bit of luck did come towards Stevie's way. He was fortunate to find a mature whitetail like that, and what a beautiful buck it was. Well, as good a luck as he had, unbeknownst to me, I was about to have bad luck. I've always had a dream to harvest a mature whitetail in the snow, particularly the first snow of the year. It seems like it does something to the whitetail. It gets them excited, and they go into some type of frenzy when that snow starts to fly. Well, for one reason or another, several things happened, and I got an opportunity to harvest a buck, but it just didn't work out.
I hope the snow continues. There's nothing that gives you a better feeling than the first snow of the season. When you're on your way to the stand and the snowflakes are flying. If this keeps up, I'm hoping that those bucks will start moving this morning.
can go wrong, will go wrong when you're hunting big whitetail. I just did a rattling sequence. Hit the horns together. You can see the snow's falling. And I thought, what a perfect time to try and rattle a buck in. I rattled, and it was 10, 15 seconds, man. Woven up, humpy popped. He just came rushing to the stand. And you won't believe it, but my rattling horns fell out of the tree. They're laying on the ground right now. Booker's the deer. He decides to try and circle downwind, which he did. He circled downwind, got around on me. I'm at full draw. He's about 35 yards, maybe 40, right at 37, 38 yards. I'm at full draw, trying to get my pin, and the snow has got my peep sight covered full, covered slick. I can't even see my pins. It's like, what else? What could go wrong? Now I gotta climb down, pick up my rattling horns. Unbelievable. Nice buck. Real nice.
Well, as you got to see there, my dream of harvesting a mature whitetail in the snow kind of escaped me. But I didn't give up. I stayed persistent and kept on trying. I was hunting in an area where there were a number of mature deer, and that being Heartland Lodge. They have approximately 10,000 acres of leased or managed properties over there with a facility that's as fine as any facility you would ever see across the United States. Between the hospitality, the outstanding meals that they serve you with, and the fantastic whitetail hunting, I don't think you can beat it anywhere in the country. And just so happens that another evening, same tree, I had a buck coming, and I'd say probably 7 or 8 steps. So watch and see what happens.
Well, I'm back at it again. I had some problems the other morning in the snow with my rattling antlers falling out of the tree. What's the chances of that? But I've got a northwest wind. I've let this spot rest for about a week, and I know there's 2 or 3 good bucks in this hollow. We're actually down below a cut cornfield, and this is the first time we've had a northwest wind since the other morning in the snow. So I'm going to give it a try again, see if my luck changes and turns off to be a little bit better this evening than it was the other morning.
mature whitetail do you have to screw up before you can harvest one? He's 10 steps right here, and the wind blew, the tree squeaked, and boy, he looked up. He looked right at the stand, looked right up here after the tree did that one little bitty sound. And once he saw me up here, we were had. I was made. And I'm standing here, I'm kind of caught off guard. I was trying to turn, so I'm standing on one foot while he's looking at me, and I'm frozen. He then glances down at the squirrel. There was a squirrel here on the ground that had an ear of corn in his mouth a while ago. And he looks at the squirrel, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that'll ease him back down. But he looked back up again, and he didn't take much of it. He was quartering to me also, and I didn't want to take a quartering to shot. I just will not do that. So I was waiting. He needed to take about 3 more steps before he was broadside. I don't know. Man, this tree has not been very lucky for me, I'll tell you.
You know, after having several opportunities and it looked or appeared as though I was going to have bad luck, I thought, well, maybe it wasn't my year. Maybe I wasn't meant to harvest a mature whitetail. But I didn't give up. I didn't let my guard down. I mean, I continued hunting persistently as possible. And lo and behold, it was, I guess, about 2 weeks later. It was as late as November the 26th, as a matter of fact. That's the exact date. And I was hunting in another area that I knew there were mature whitetail in this particular area. And all of a sudden, here, as a bow hunter does, he'll often just look up the trail, and there he stands, a mature whitetail heading right for your tree, and that's exactly what happened. But I don't know that there's anything worse than sitting there thinking, uh-oh, what could happen now? Here I've got a beautiful 8-point buck coming right for the tree, and I had thought about what had happened earlier in the year, the bad luck I'd been having, and I'm wondering if this deer is even going to give me the opportunity to harvest him or the opportunity to get a shot at him. And I can tell you right now, it was truly, truly rewarding. You'll see what happens. Hallelujah, baby. Real nice buck. Nice buck. I didn't know which way he was going to come in here. Man, we've got 2 or 3 fresh scrapes right here. There's one here, one there, one there. The trails are just hogged up in here. We slipped in early this morning under dark. I came in as quietly as possible. I had an encounter with a small buck, came right by the tree here this morning, worked around, circled around us, didn't booger him up. But this deer stood right up here, and he was, licking around on the ground and smelling, looking for a doe. He's looking for a hot doe. This rut is really late this year. Here it is, November the 26th, and we just haven't had a lot of luck, but this is a nice deer. Perfect. Yes! Gorgeous day. Hallelujah, baby. Gosh. That's the way you like to see them right there. It isn't often that I get to see them like this, but that is the way you like to look at them. Complete pass through. And he's about 15 steps from the stand, which is awesome. We got a great blood trail here. Bright red lung blood. Got a lot of air bubbles in it. Good blood trail. He's bleeding out from both sides. Oh, wow, look at this. Bright blood, just full of air bubbles. It's real frothy and full of a lot of air. I felt as though it was a good hit because it passed completely through, and I thought I heard him crash, but I haven't been able to see him yet. But he's leaving a really good blood trail. Blood trail, man. He was bleeding out both sides. You see where he stumbled here? Looks like he was having trouble maneuvering. There he is. All right. Yes! Woo! Oh my God! Holy cow! What a deer. Oh, man. What a rewarding feeling. My goodness. What a buck. What a nice buck. Great bow harvest, I'll tell you. I think that part of the reason that I had the success that I did this morning was attributable to the camouflage that I'm wearing and the tree stand that I hunt out of. I don't want it to sound like a commercial, but by golly, if we weren't using gear that we could effectively come into a spot that I've stayed out of intentionally. I knew it was a hot spot. It's got 3 or 4 really good scrapes within sight distance of the tree. But you've got to believe in your gear and your spot and your stand. And I do. I believe very faithfully in the camouflage that I'm wearing and the tree stand that I hunt out of. My goodness, this deer had no idea. He was completely clueless of my position up in that tree. And I had to turn on him. I had to turn almost 180 degrees
For a moment, I thought he was going to go to the right and come down to where I had a shot straight in front of my stand, but he didn't do that. They never do what you think they're going to. Instead, he kind of went to the left, and I had to spin 180 degrees on my API and maneuver on him to get a shot, and he didn't pick me off, never saw me moving up there, and I think that's very attributable to the fact that we have such success harvesting mature whitetail. And this, my goodness, is a dandy. He is a nice buck. Oh, yeah.
What a terrific buck, and what a terrific shot Terry made on that whitetail. It's always nice to see somebody take them exactly where you want to hit that deer. I remember one morning I was actually hunting at Heartland Lodge over in Illinois. Right behind the lodge we call the Brushy Pond Set. And it was probably about 7 o'clock, very early in the morning, and I looked up and saw a buck working down through the tree line. Grunted at him a couple times, and in he came straight up to the tree, got within about 30 yards, and I was having a little difficulty this morning getting my peep sight to roll around. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. like I said, there's a deer with an attitude that I would have loved to have gotten a shot at, but I could not get my peep to turn just perfect, and deer ended up getting away from it. One point that I think is worth making or worth mentioning, particularly when you're talking about hunting mature trophy class white-tailed deer, and that is waiting till the exact right time to go in and hunt a particular deer. A lot of the spots that we have throughout our hunting area, Terry, Steve, myself, we all hunt the same farms, and there are certain trees that we just will not go into until the timing is perfect. Steve's kill on that nice 9-point with the broken brow tine, that was the first time he had been to that tree. The deer that Terry killed, that was only the second time we had been to that tree, and it was late in the rut. But the rut didn't get started real early, and we waited till the end of November to finally go into those spots. And here's a hunt where we waited till the perfect time to go into the tree. It was November the 20th, and I had not been to this hollow in 2 years, and this is in fact the hollow where I had seen the biggest deer in my life, probably a 180 or 190 class deer. We actually call it the Booner Hollow. So we went in, and about 8 o'clock, I thought I saw a deer go to his bed up in this little finger. I waited about 30 minutes, finally made a rattling sequence, and the buck came out of the hollow, come grunting over to where my stand was. He came about 30 yards, stayed out in the brush, and you really can't see him too well, but one of the deer that was with him, a smaller buck, came right into the stand. They turned around, went back into the place where they were bedded, so I got the horns ready, rattled them again, and here he comes all the way in, 12 steps to the tree, and it was truly a memorable hunt for me that morning. What an awesome buck. Once the smallest of the bucks had gone back into the brushy draw, I decided to once again attempt a rattling sequence. both sides. Oh my. Yeah! Look at there. What a hog. Boy, every bow hunter dreams of killing a mature white-tailed deer, particularly here in the Midwest where their bodies and racks grow to just super huge size. And what an 8-point buck. I mean, this guy is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I've always wanted to kill a wide deer, he's got that. I've always wanted to kill a massive deer, he's got that. And above and beyond everything else, his body is unbelievable. I'd hate to guess how much this deer weighs, but he is huge. What a deer, and what a hunt this guy gave us. Early in the morning, 2 does walked into a ditch just across the field from where my stand was. And then a small rack buck fed into there. And then I thought I saw a fairly good rack buck go in there, which it was this guy. So I waited probably 30, 45 minutes, and they never came out. I was hoping they'd come by on natural movement, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna rattle. Rattled one time, 22nd series, and I mean, he came busting out of there, a little buck come busting out of there, the little buck came right below the tree, and this guy came over about 30 yards from me. I drew on him real quick, and then he turned around and ran another little buck off. 3 bucks busted out of that draw. Turned around and went back. The little buck went back. I thought, well, I'm gonna try it again. I waited maybe a couple, 3 minutes, rattled again, and here he come again, grunting the whole way. He ran all the way across the field, straight to the stand, and as they always do, went downwind, and I thought, oh no, he's going to the downwind side of the tree. But luckily, he went right through the wind and came right in and gave me a perfect 12 or 13 yard shot. And you gotta believe that some of the preparation you do with your clothes, washing them in unscented soap, using scent shield every day, morning and evening, using the body gel on your hair and your body, that's when it pays off. It's easy to let that type of stuff, go towards the end of the season, but I kept up with it, and it paid off this morning. I mean, he came right to the downwind side and never senses. What a hunt, and what a whitetail. Sure feels good. We at Drury Outdoors realize you have a choice when it comes to outdoor videos, and we appreciate the fact that you would consider one of our productions. I'm Mark Drury, and I thank you very, very much.